the internal working of agencies. Well, maybe it was because, Elon Musk was on his way, because people were like, just give people 30 days notice. Like, why are you moving so fast? Well, maybe we know the answer to that. Now we go to the NLRB. The chairwoman of the NLRB, first black woman to be the chair of the NLRB. Do you think it's any surprise that that's who he has picked?
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised he didn't blame the plane crash on her.
Precisely, right? I mean, this is the worst of the worst. The idea that he first took the cops off the beat with the inspector general, then knowing that what he was going to do was going to be illegal and he needed to pick someone to fire to be the test case, he picked the first black woman chair of the NLRB so that his minions on X and his trove of trolls can spread the kinds of disgusting lies that will undoubtedly now flow.
I also want to draw your attention to a Slate article right here, and that is that if this goes up to the Supreme Court, for example, the statute under which Wilcox is protected is called Humphrey's Executor. If that's overturned in deference to Trump, that means that then other officials who are protected by this same statute will be allowed to be fired by Trump, and that includes folks who are on the Federal Reserve, which means that Trump will be able to replace those people, these Federal Reserve members, with political appointees. So he will basically be able to politically interfere with the entire monetary system in this country, all so that it can help him politically or help his cronies and donors and pals politically. I mean, can you talk about the danger that this country is put in if, in fact, Trump is able to fire Wilcox, given the precedent that will establish?
Yeah, so you have to look at Donald Trump, the threat Donald Trump poses in the personnel arena in three buckets. The first is he wants to hollow out the nonpartisan career civil service. And so we have already talked about various efforts that he's done that to fire people he's not entitled to fire to because they have civil service protection, his intimidating other people to try to force them to resign, and of course this ridiculous effort to buy out people so that they leave, right? And so that's prong A of the attack, which is how do you get rid of the people who are essentially working at the line level to make sure that government function? How do you replace them with political cronies? That's the Schedule F and all of that, okay? The second level is how do you target law enforcement? How do you force out FBI agents who might have, displeased you and open up the ability to put in more people? How do you target federal prosecutors? And we've talked a lot about that, but you're right. This is the third leg of the stool because there is a slate of people, including, by the way, the FBI director, right, who has a fixed 10-year term. And I thought it was a big mistake that the former FBI director resigned, right? We talked about that. It was to prevent exactly this fight, this issue that he resigned. And you have seen a number of people resign, but good for Ms. Wilcox for not resigning because there is this slate of people, whether it's the Federal Reserve, whether it's the NLRB, whether it's the Federal Election Commission, which oversees the way campaigns operated with spending money, right? It's a three Democrat, 3 Republican commission. What if he decides to replace all the 3 Democrats with 3 libertarians, right? So this is a big issue that could affect all aspects of society and the like. And it is the thing that I think irritates him the most because these are senior people who cannot be otherwise bullied because they can't be fired, right? They can't be pressured out in the same way. They are usually people who have independent stature and resources and can bring lawsuits and the like. And so this is a huge case, and it will go to the U.S. Supreme Court. And the U.S. Supreme Court is going to have a fundamental decision in this case, like it will in several of the others, about whether or not it stands for a living democracy, or whether it is happy to kill it off in favor of a Donald Trump autocracy. And it really is just that simple. Some of the cases that we talk about day to day are just like executive branch overreaching, and they're stupid. I mean, to be honest with you, the attempt to repeal birthright citizenship is so clearly unconstitutional, it probably won't even get to the Supreme Court. If it did, it will lose. But then you have cases like this that, don't have that profile, but the impact they would have would be just as great. And the worry is that if people out there watching this are not paying attention and they're not reading Democracy Docket and they're not, they're not mobilizing around it, that these are the kind of cases you could see a Justice Gorsuch, joining with a Justice Alito and a Justice Thomas, right? You can start to see that they write some very esoteric opinion and people don't realize what's just happened. So yeah, this is a really important case.
Well, I know that we're going to keep an eye on this because this would be as cataclysmic as some of the other cases that you were keeping a close eye on, including independent state legislature theory, for example. So, and of course the presidential immunity case. So we will continue to cover this. I know that you and your team at Democracy Docket are keeping a very close eye on this one in particular. So for those who are watching right now, if you want to follow along and also support a news outlet that is operating without fear or favor, which is what the media should be doing right now, please make sure to sign up for Democracy Docket. I'll put the link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. I'm Brian Tyler Cohen.
I'm Mark Elias.
This is Democracy Watch.